Hi, I'm Tracey Gordon. I'm the Registrar of Wills here in the city of Philadelphia.
Hi, my name is Sharon Wilson. I'm the solicitor for the Register of Wills here in Philadelphia. The solicitor is the attorney for the office.
We're here to watch some videos on the Registrar Reacts, and I'm your registrar.
I've been very busy. I haven't had a chance to look at video, so if I have to look at video today, it'll be fine.
Whoa, I am pretty sure you shouldn't have a weapon at work.
Literally everything is a weapon, son. That folder in my hands is far deadlier than this bow in yours.
Oh, that's probably true. So Leslie and I just finished putting together our will, and she wants you to be the witness. You mind signing it?
That's your will? You need that many pages to say give my stuff to my wife?
See, that's exactly why people get so afraid. When your will looks like Encyclopedia Britannica, then it really does discourage people from just putting down the essentials that they need.
So a will is just like your insurance to protect your generational wealth. This law in the state of Pennsylvania gives you the right to decide who inherits your assets, as opposed to when you don't leave a will and it has to come down. And I, as a registrar, have to interpret the law as to who these heirs are and as to how these assets are going to be distributed.
It's a complicated legal document.
Doesn't have to be. I've had the same will since I was 8 years old.
Hilarious. Well, first of all, you can't have a will at 8 years old. Wills are invalid until you turn 18 years old. It's funny that he had it folded up in his wallet.
If you can fit your will into a wallet, it's probably a little bit too short and you need a little bit more to it than that.
Something can happen to you and, you could lose the will. We always say that the best thing to do once you get your will drawn up is to put it in a very safe place where someone else needs to know where it is.
Upon my death, all of my belongings shall transfer to the man or animal who has killed me. What are these weird symbols?
The man who kills me will know.
I do know what Ron symbols mean, and I could tell you, but I'd have to kill you.
Okay, you should really have a will that's more than one sentence long. You have a wife and kids now, and I could introduce you to our lawyer.
The three most useless jobs in the world are, in order, lawyer, congressman, and doctor. Pass.
Well, I don't know how useful your lawyer is to you, but I do know getting married or having children is a great motivation for coming in to write a will or to get an existing will changed.
Although in the state of Pennsylvania, it's not required that you have a lawyer to help you do your will, but that is a best practice and recommendation from me as a registrar of wills.
Ron, that document is nothing. It's not even notarized. If you die and you don't have a real will, most of what you own will go to the government.
Where's this lawyer you speak of?
Well, that's not necessarily true. The only way the government will take your assets if they can't find any heirs to your estate. And that's why you leave a will. And inheritance taxes, whether or not you probate the estate or bring in a will or not, you are going to be hit with the inheritance tax, and a penalty accrues on it if you don't pay the inheritance tax within 9 months of the death. The inheritance tax is calculated based on the value of what is transferred and the relationship of the person receiving the asset to the person that died. Transfers to spouses are tax-free. The revenue is used for our schools, our roads, our infrastructure, and is also used for libraries. Ron?
Hey, Trevor. I've been talking to Ron about estate planning, and he is here to do some goodwill hunting.
Well, I got a number. How do you like them apples?
He has to draw up a new will, so...
Yes, I understood, Mr. White. Thank you. As I've said before, I just don't like puns.
I thought that was kind of
As I've
funny.
said, I just don't. Let's begin by filling out this form listing your assets and liabilities.
Nice try.
If you don't let your lawyer know what assets you have, what liabilities you have, then no, you will not be able to put together a will.
I'm not telling you how much money I have, where it's hidden, or which precious metals and or gemstones it may or may not take the form of.
Boy, have I dealt with this before. If you make the decision to draft a will, pick someone that you trust. Because when you go to your attorney, you really do need to disclose all of your assets and perhaps some personal things that you don't normally talk about. But it really does help to produce the best document when you know the most information.
If you don't give me the information I need, there's nothing I can do.
Oh, come on, Trevor. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Because it's important to tell your attorney everything about your estate.
Crap at the door. Yes, sir. I will.
It's not a guessing game.
Unintentional.
I don't even need an exact number. Just ballpark it. That's all I need to get started.
Or I'm sure the state government would love to use your money to hire more bureaucrats, maybe build a library.
Fine.
How do you make a will? You start by thinking about what the world would look like if you weren't there. And then you start by making a list of your assets. And then the next simple step is think about who you would want to have what you now have.
Holy. Is this a joke?
Another word for jokes is lies. I do not lie, therefore I do not joke.
You do need to list all your assets. You do need to let your attorney know everything about anything that you think you own. Best practice, again, is to ask the lawyer to make it a self-proven affidavit. A self-proven affidavit is when you have two witnesses there in front of your lawyer, you sign your will, they sign it. And so whenever your executor brings that will to our office once you die, because we don't see the will until after you die here in the state of Pennsylvania. But once they bring your will to us, they won't have to go find the witnesses.
This is going to take some time. Trusts need to be drawn, tax shelters.
That's enough. I do not need some drawn-out legal expedition to tell me what I knew when I was 8.
He's right. You don't have to have a long, legal, complicated document. Your attorney should be able to translate your estate, no matter how large it is, into simple language that you understand. There's no need to leave the office with a document that you can't even read.
What are all these symbols?
I was right not to be threatened by you.
I can add symbols to your will if you like.
When you don't have a proper will, you leave your estate in what's called intestate. And that means that the register of wills, or I would have to determine who your heirs are. And it has to be proven. You have to come down to our office and prove to you that you are the heir of these properties. And we have to go through what they are called citation hearings. And then I would rule on who is the best person to administrate the estate and who the heirs are.
Yeah, when you don't work everything out and you don't have a will, a proper will, then what might happen is the state in which you die, today we're just talking about Pennsylvania, but the state in which you die already has a list and a will made out for you because they just don't believe all of you are going to get around to it.
Most people are afraid to talk about death and talk about their assets because they think people are prying into their business. But in order for you to leave an effective will, you must consult, you should consult with an attorney, and you have to tell them everything. You have to tell them all your assets, all your liabilities, so they can put together a will.
A will is important because it really represents you taking responsibility for the legacy that you have achieved over your lifetime. And that has nothing to do with how large your estate is and everything to do with being a responsible owner of assets.
Ron, he would need a visual, and I would bring him into one of our hearings, and I would hope that would help. And he will be able to witness some of the fighting that goes on when the dead person decides not to leave a will. And some of them are heartbreaking, and some of them are costly for the estate. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, hashtag PHLROW, and I'll see you next time on the next episode of The Register Reacts.